Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is your boy Andre and this is the Op Zone. Now here we are with another video. I am glad to present to you guys my new build, which is already completed and is standing right next to me right here. This build was basically designed for my step cousin. Her boyfriend had asked for a PC to build for them. But it was funny how it happened because I got a text message one day and they said, it was from her, her name is Samantha, and she asked me, hey Dre, do you know if I remember correctly, she asked if I know any good pre-builds. And I said, is she trolling me? I felt like she was trolling me. I felt like she was like either gaslighting me, whatever the case may be. I'm like, what are you talking about? I could build you a PC. So she's like, that would be awesome. Like and I said, I do have some spare parts in the house. I could offer you what I have and you just have to pick up where I don't have. So, you know, she was able to pick up the processor. No, I picked up the processor for her build. All she had to buy was just storage, the GPU, and the power supply. So those three items I didn't have on hand to spare. So she did pick those up. So that being said, I'm going to show you guys what parts I used to get this build established. So let's get started on that. All right guys, first thing we're gonna start with is a motherboard. So the motherboard went with this build is the LiveMixer by Asrock B650. The reason I went with this board because number one, it looked really cool with the orange splatter and the yellow highlights. Was a chef kiss off the rip, and the price point was on par with competitor, and the price point was awesome. For me, it was just a right stepping stone to get into the AM5 socket. Again, I was all AM4 prior, and I felt as though with the price point where this was at the time, I think when I bought this, it was about $150. So I looked at it as number one, it looked really good. It had all the features I needed to build a good quality PC, if it's a mid-range or a high-range PC for gaming or content creating. So I felt as though for the great price point, which was about $150, it was a good entry level for me to cross over to the AM5 platform, and that's one of the reasons why I went with this motherboard. Even though it doesn't have a Wi-Fi built in, I had no issue with spending a little extra, maybe a couple of dollars to upgrade or add a Wi-Fi module to the motherboard, which I actually posted on the channel already. So if you guys are interested in looking at that, I will leave that in the link below or somewhere on top of the screen. It is also PCIe Gen 5 ready. DDR5 of course, and if you cross over to the AM5 platform, you will be introduced to the DDR4 platform as well. This is one of the by far the coolest, prettiest motherboard I've ever seen, with the highlights of orange and yellow and some black into it. That being said, you are kind of forced into doing some color scheme customization in terms of RGB with any fans in your liking of that. So that being said, this was one of the easiest, most understanding motherboard to work with. The only downfall for me personally is the two SATA ports that it does come with. That being said, you reminded right away that this motherboard does emphasize on M.2s with the SATA ports just being two. But if you're installing any hard drive or SSDs, you want to make sure it is at its highest capacity, terabytes. Either 2 terabyte, 4 terabyte or higher. You want to make sure you have that large amount of storage, being that is only 2 SATA ports. For this build, I did wait with one of them for the SATA drive as a HDD. Yes, that's right, I said it, a hard disk drive. We'll get more into that later on. Also, you want to make sure if you are picking up this motherboard, update the BIOS if you're going over to the new Ryzen 9000 series platform. You also want to make sure that you are updating the BIOS to the latest, so that way it is optimized ready for the latest version of the Ryzen 9000 series. So keep that in mind, guys. Okay, so next I want to talk about the processor I went with. So I went with, it was still the new platform, the Ryzen 9000 series, Ryzen 7. This one is the new platform that just came out not too long ago. We're looking at the AMD Ryzen 7 9700X. This processor is the 8-core 16-thread processor, 40 megabytes cache unlocked. So this was the one I went with. This one is emphasized by AMD, much more energy efficient. So this is what processor I went with for this build. Next, I went with a air cool. So I went with the Be Quiet Dark Rock Pro 5. Now I have to talk a little bit more on this. Now, out of all my builds, guys, I always use an AIO. I had AIOs from our first build down to my last build in this home, and to go out all the way across Texas. Now, I decided to go with air cool just because I've never done an air cool build before, so I took a stab at it, and guys, I really like air cooling. I feel like it's a better, me personally, I feel like it's a better cooling component for a processor. AIOs are great, but when you look at the scheme of things and how AIOs are designed nowadays, you almost want to think it's only for aesthetics nowadays, with all the RGB that they're implementing into it, and the big screen, you know, showing you GIFs and stuff, and you know, they should really emphasize on aesthetics. Now with Be Quiet, it's just cooling, and that's it. That's its only job. That's its only purpose, is to cool your PC processor, and that's it. There's no fancy things about it, and all you got to make sure that there's enough clearance when it comes to your RAM. All right, so I kid you not, after using this, now I do have the Dark Rock Pro 4 on hand, but I was going to use that for this build, but I just misplaced a couple of the parts. So I just say, you know, I look for those later, and I went with this for a pretty good, inexpensive price point. And I kid you not, I have no regrets using this Dark Rock Pro 5. It's been a pleasure using this cooling processor. I would highly recommend, if you decide to go with a air cooling for your processor, and you want to try it out instead of using the AIO all the time, go with the Be Quiet Dark Rock Pro 5. It's a really good cooling unit for your processor, if it's Intel or AMD. But yeah, at this time, I feel like my next build in the future, I want to go with a strict air cool setup with a next PC build. But let's see what will happen, because I do have an AIO that's still lingering on my test bench, and I may want to put that to use. I can't just have it sit there without even using it. So yeah, great air cooling component. Dockwalk Pro 5. At this time, I'm even looking at Cooler Masters air cooling method. So you want to stay tuned for that, guys. Next component. So now the next component I want to talk about is the PSU. Now, at first glance, when I was shopping around for PSUs or I was sharing components to my step cousin, I didn't realize I was sharing her a refurbished PSU. Now, the price was so good that I didn't even look at the description, and turns out it was refurbished. Then when I finally realized that it was refurbished, by that time it was too late. It was already shipped out. So I was a little nervous about it. So when it came to the house, I looked to make sure all the wires were there. The ports onto the PSU was not damaged. They all looked good. So the next best thing was to test it out and see if everything was working. Now, I do not have a PSU tester on hand, so everything was just raw dogging it. To put it that way, it was just straight shot. Let's plug everything in and hope for the best. And everything, luckily, is on point. There's no issues with the PSU so far. Everything is working. I stress test the PC for about 30 minutes and no issues with the power supply unit. Now, this power supply unit, as you guys can tell, is the Corsair RMX Shift. Now, it's not my first time using this power supply on a PC case like this. And those who was wondering, the case I went with is the Lancool 3. I'm not going to bring the box on this table because the box is just too big. I'm just going to tell you guys what PC case it is. And the PC case, again, Lancool 3 RGB in white. Really great case. I recommend it to anyone who is interested in a first build concept in a mid-tower case. Really great case, guys. I love it. This is my third time building in that case. All right, so next component. All right, next we're going to talk about storage. So the storage I went with this build is one I had on hand already, which is the PNY 2 terabyte third gen. That's all I had, guys. Don't fuss at me. Next one is the Western Digital Blue SSD. This is a 2 terabyte. What is this running at? I think this is running at, it's running up to 560 megabytes per second reads. This one is reads up to 350, and writing is about 3,000. Pretty good, especially for a first build. Come on. And then the only build, so the boxes I don't have for the other two. The other one is a Seagate by Firecuda, 4 terabyte, 7,200 RPM. And the next one is the SSD by Samsung NVMe 990 Pro 2 terabyte. That's the so basically about 4 storage units on this PC. Next component. All right, guys, and the next final, well, not to mention the Lian-li fans, but I'll get to that later. But the biggest component will be the GPU. And what we went with is the Merc 319 by AMD. Okay, this is a 16, so you guys, I'm sure if we get to the shot. This is the 16 gigabyte of fun, right? AMD 7800 XT. Really good GPU. Has everything that you need to play any high-end game, even in take advantage of ray tracing, if that is your thing. Now, that being said, this is my first time going with a AMD build. First time, guys. I've never thought of entering the AMD platform in terms of GPU. After getting this one, I actually went with the next level, and that would be the Asrock version of the AMD, but we'll get into that later on. But for this build, we went with this GPU, and let's just say I'm happy with it. The companion app, which I believe is the Adrenaline, perfect. Really good software. It's very powerful. You could do anything within that software in terms of streaming, tweaking, overclocking the GPU. Great step into the AMD platform. Yeah, I'll talk about the fans later. I did have a little issues, but yeah, that's basically the main components that I went with. Let me talk about the RAM before we get into all the goodies. So, next component. Now the next component I'm going to talk about is the RAM. There's a Corsair Vengeance 64 gigabytes, 2-channel RAM, DDR5. Now I was going to go with a 4, but you know, after a while you kind of get used to the 4 RAM sticks, and you really think to yourself, well, why are these guys selling just two RAMs for the equal amount of 4? In other words, you could get the 2 stick for 64 gigabytes, and you could also get a 4 stick at 64 gigabytes. So I said, you know what, let me just get the 2, which ultimately, if you think about it, if you having 4, it takes a little while for the system at first post to memory train itself to get into Windows or get into BIOS. So, and on top of that, you realize it's only for aesthetics purposes. After a while, do I really need 4 RAM sticks? You know, guys, you do not. 2 is just fine. 4, after 2, it just becomes a aesthetic thing. So I decided to go with just 2, and I'm happy that I went with 2 because I don't have to worry about, you know, I don't have to worry about taking out 4 in case one goes bad, which actually did happen to me, unfortunately, with my daughter's build, but we get into that later on. But guys, yeah, I went with just 2 memory sticks on this build. But yeah, I have no plans on buying a double set to max it out to 4. No plans, so I'm gonna stick with 2. And the next component I want to talk about, guys, is the support bracket for that GPU. Dang Studio. This particular GPU support bracket is literally mounted on your fans. I did a few shorts about it on YouTube. I'll link those shorts at the bottom of the descriptions if you guys want to take a look, but make sure you come back to this video when you do. But yeah, really great sturdy bracket I has installed to the hands so dry. Jesus Christ.
1 minute 37 seconds later.
Okay, back. All right, look a little better. Jesus, I was so dry. Don't blame me, blame the weather. All right, so yeah, great support bracket, guys. I really like it. It was actually on point. The last brackets I bought was the pillars. You guys call it brackets, the ones that stands up on top of the shroud of a PC case, pushing up on the GPU. I like to call them pillars, but you guys can call it whatever you guys want to call it. But I'm used to that. I did bought one, and I didn't take in consideration of the distance between the fan and the GPU, and it was just too tall. So I went back online to look for another solution, and I ran into this one. Guys, on point, love it. I will recommend it. And something else I want to also add, I did add the MS6 cooling solution by Arctic. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's what I went with. But yeah, cooling solution for the processor. now that I spoke about the components, what I've used, now let's go see this PC in action. All right, guys, and here we are with that build. Everything is well put together. I've done a ton of shorts on this PC, so you guys are interested, I'll leave all those shorts I've done on this build in the description down below. So putting this thing together was pretty easy. Again, Lancool 3 is a magnificent case if you want to start building a new PC, or a PC for someone that's asking for a PC and you decide to build one. Now, I am very picky in terms of cases that I like to build in. My personal rig is actually the Cooler Master 700 Cosmos, right? That is one of the builds, that's a fun build to work in. That's one of my favorite of all time cases. To me personally, that's my case of #1, especially with that tilt GPU bracket. And now, aside from that, this PC case gives you a lot of room to build in. Even down below, with the shroud is down below, it gives you a lot of room. Even with the HDD trays already installed, you still have enough room to rewire, wire, reconnect, disconnect, all that good stuff down below. When it comes to the top, you have a lot of room from one end to the next end for GPUs. As you can see, it fits really well with the AIO. Sorry, with the air cooler. You see, I'm so used to saying AIOs. I've been doing AIO builds for a long time. So with the air cool, there's a lot of room between the glass and the top of the AIO. Enough clearance, so there's nothing touching each other. With this particular build, I already had some wires on hand for a very long time. In fact, these wires was meant for my daughter's PC a while back. This is when I was just getting into PC building, and my daughter had picked out a case for herself, and I believe it is the Be Quiet, I think it's the 802, I think it was one of those Be Quiet cases where it emphasized in black and orange, and I went with these cables here. But later on, we did eventually change the case into a Lancool 3. But this gave me an opportunity to color scheme the motherboard with these cables, and that's why I went with these cables. But yeah, it worked out pretty well. These cables are very flexible, very. If you guys are interested in these cables, I'll leave the link down below as well. My motherboard is by Asrock, as you guys already know. I did put some badges inside just to emphasize the branding here too as well. I say, hey, why not? I don't know if you guys can see that. So I also did some branding here and there in terms of the case, because hey, why not, right? Now the fans, these fans I already had on hand. These fans I had for about maybe a while. I can't even tell you the date. I have to go back into the archives and look, but I had these fans here for a while. In fact, when I had these cases, when I bought these fans were selling 5 in a box. So you could tell they were trying to get rid of them. So I bought I think 2 of them, and for a good price too as well. So this gave me an opportunity to put them in this case. And the only thing I was missing was the controller for, not for these, but the controller for the front fans. So for the front fans, let me pop this off so you guys can see. So with the front fans, all right, now with the front fans, these are the AL's 140s V2s. Yeah, AL 140 V2 fans. All right, so with the front fans, these are the AL's Unifans AL 140 V2s. These fans works really great. I took the original stock fans out and I slapped these in. Yes, they are black. This is the only fan colors I had on hand. So don't even ask why I didn't go with white. didn't have it, went with black. But these did work just as fine as any other 140 fans out there. But I decided to go with these fans. Only thing that was missing was the controller for these fans. So I had to order 3 sets of fans of 120s. That annoyed me so much. You don't understand how much that annoyed me. Lian-li, I don't know how they do their statistics. I don't know how they do it, but for them to just sell the 140s individually, it's fucking crazy. I'm just going to say it's mind-blowing. Why would you just want to sell 140s as an individual pack? Why don't you sell 140s as a 3-pack with the controller to it? It makes me want to punch them in the face. It doesn't make no sense. I'm being violent. Let me take it down, Nash. I'm being violent. I'm sorry. I apologize. You guys be tripping. Give us a pack that has a 140 in them. 3-pack. If you want to make things crazy, give me a 4-pack 140. All right, with the controller. Stop with the single pack. That's some bullshit. I had to go out and buy the 3-pack 120 to get my hands on a controller. That's how stupid it is. I don't know if anyone else is complaining about it, but I'm going to complain about it. It's some bullshit. I don't like it. It doesn't make any sense. I had to buy 123 pack to get a controller for the 140s. Come on, that's some bullshit. But anyway, let me stop because I'm gonna need a drink after this. I don't want to drink right now. So again, I had to invest in a set of fans of 120s, which I don't have no use for them. So it's just going to sit down there someplace, and later on I'm going to have to buy a controller for that set of fans. Doesn't make any sense, but whatever. So yeah, so that being said, this is in here. It's been working pretty well. The color schemes work out just great. My daughter's build is similar to this, but she has, I can't recall the type of fan she has, but you guys could check it on my page later on. It's someplace in there. What else? Let me put, fan filters, guys. I am a big fan of the Lancool, and there's one thing about Lancool 3. So the next thing I want to talk about is the fan filter. The filter kit that I went with the Lancool 3. You're given the opportunity to buy a filter kit for this case. And this is in case you have a pet, a woman that wears wigs a lot, anything in that nature, you're covered. You just take it out and pop it back in. Pop it in like this. So I have the one for the front, the top, and one on the side. And that's another gripe I have with the fan filter kit. They give you 3. They give you 3. Where there is 2, you guys, you understand, the Lian-li, the way they do their things kind of weird, but with no solid explanation. This PC case have the ability to have air coming through the bottom on both sides. You understand me? Both sides. I'm sure it's drawing air. It's drawing air both sides, but they give you one filter for one of the sides. What type of shit is that? What type of shit is that? But I want to calm down. Lian-li just be slipping up sometimes, I feel, and there's no explanation for it. Some bullshit. But anyway, yes. Other than that, really good filter kit. In fact, my daughter's build was so dusty, but the most of the dust was captured with the filter, basically leaving a little bit of dander and stuff like that into the case itself. So it is a great addition to have if you want to go with the Lancool 3. Now the kit does come in two colors, black and white. If you do, and keep in mind, it comes in two colors. You don't have to do white on white or black on black. You can mix it up. I think I did that with my nephew's PC. I got him the black filter kit with his white PC build. So you can mix it up, guys, so keep that in mind. All right, I want to put that out there. You're not limited to just white on white, black on black. You can mix it up. All right, interracial thing. All right, a little note that I want to add to as well. When I did remove the original stock fans out from the front, I kept one of them to put in the rear. So if you guys look over here, that rear fan was actually to the front. So I wanted to still keep that functionality in terms of changing the color just by the press of the button on top of the I/O, or the front panel, I should say. So I'm able to change the color just by press of the button on the exhaust fan in the back. So, you know, that's a good tip in case you guys are wondering, or not wondering, but if you guys are planning to build this PC case, which I have to say it is a top tier case in my opinion, but you know, I'm just some YouTuber, you know, little guy trying to work my way up there. So, you know, hit that like button, guys. But anyway, yeah, so good PC, guys. Good PC case, recommended. Check this. In fact, I'll probably put a stamp on this so you guys can check it out, you guys. So you guys can see my approval for this one. But other than that, guys, it's been a cool case. You guys should be able to see the bottom now since I put the camera more back, which I should start doing that more often so I have it so close up to me. But again, Corsair shift works beautifully. In fact, let me turn it around so you guys can see for yourselves. Hold on. It's a bit messy, but all right, so I don't know if you guys can see that, but this is the way it looks at the bottom. It's messy, but everything is tight and connected properly. Now, there are ways you can do this. I'm sure there are, but you know, this is the best I can do, and it works out just fine. This may give you some anxiety issues for some of those who suffer from anxiety. This may hit a chord with you guys, but if you guys can get past that, it works really well. Now, in case of wire management, guys, it was pretty easy to do wire management. I'm gonna show you that just right now, actually. Bitch, open up. All right, so here's my wire management. If you guys have any thoughts, leave comments down below, but this is the best I can do and it's working out for me. Ha, you know, what you gonna say about that? Nothing. So yeah, everything's connected well. There's no issues in terms of wire placement. I'm thinking if I had any issues. The only issue I really had was one of the SSDs I had purchased that they have holes on the side to be mounted to the brackets on there. So I just took the L on that. I'm gonna just send it back to them and then they'll do that later on. Whenever they need an extra space, they could do that later on. But yeah, everything's mounted pretty well in this case, guys. Now, like I said, guys, with this GPU, I had to end up using a sag bracket. It's pretty heavy. It's been a while since I had to use a bracket. So when I did hunt for one on Amazon, I ended up finding one that actually mounts to the fan and then has a pillar or bracket, or I don't know how you got rods. You have rods, come with two rods that screws into each other with a top finish of a gold finish. And then you have your thumb screw that tightens the level of the mounting bracket to hold the GPU. And so far it's working pretty good, guys. No issues. But other than that, guys, it's been a good build, fun build. I've already done stability testing. All that is in my channel. You can find all those in I will try to put as much as I can in the description in terms of the YouTube shorts. When building this PC, I did everything through shorts, so you guys could check it out when you guys want to. What else? yeah, that's basically it for this segment. I'm going to do a little, I'm going to turn it on so you guys can see for yourself how it look when it first boot up. And the first boot up, no issues. In fact, booting this thing up, I don't know, I did watch one video a while back on how it took a little time for this motherboard to boot to BIOS. But when I booted up for the first time, brand new, out the box, granted I updated the BIOS right afterwards, but when I first booted up, it went straight to BIOS like that. I mean, I didn't have to wait a long period of time. There was no delay. I turned it on. It did memory cycling about, I want to say 3-4 seconds, 5 seconds, and I'm into BIOS. It was pretty quick. But yeah, other than that, guys, it was a smooth build. When my cousin came to me about building a PC for them, they was more into, hey Dre, do you know any good pre-builds? I'm like, a pre-build? Are you gaslighting me? Just say you want me to build your PC. I got no problem doing that. I'm gonna charge you a little fee. So I asked what were their goals in terms of building a PC, or what were their expectations for the PC desktop. What are their plans for the desktop? I had to ask a few questions. Is it for gaming, content creating, homework, you know, basic needs, that sort of thing. So they end up telling me they're big fans of Elden Ring. Now, I don't know too much about the game. I do have it on my PC, but I never played the game. So I always tell myself that I would play the game, just never got into the opportunity to do that. So one day I'll pick up the game, but what I understand is that game is very high demand in terms of graphics and FPS and all that good stuff. So I believe that this PC will have no issues in terms of playing that game, or any game in that matter. It's well optimized. I did my stress test. Again, all that is in the link in the description down below. This PC, guys, is Elden Ring ready. So that was their goal. I believe they used to play, or what I understand, they play Elden Ring on a laptop. And I guess that laptop is on its last leg, and it's not doing too well playing that game. So this was the main purpose of this build, so that they can enjoy playing Elden Ring. So that was the purpose of this, guys. And it took me about maybe 2 weeks to get this thing all put together, because I had to wait for some parts to come in the mail. But anyway, enough of me yapping and blabbing. Let's take a look at the PC turned on. All right, so let's get everything connected back to the AIO and the power supply. Okay, power supply in. Where is that? I am using a display port. No, I'm not using the HDMI. In case anyone's wondering, this is a 16K display port. That's all I need, right? That's it, right? I don't need to hook up the sound. This is it. That's all I need. So let me just move the camera so you guys can see for yourself the boot time. Hey, why not, right? I guess you call it cold start. Make sure I can see it. Hold on. That should be good, right? Let's bring it a little closer. I'm actually using a monitor that I have on the side. This is actually my third monitor. Cool. You guys can see that. So I'm gonna get you guys a good view. That should be good. All right. It's a little cut off, but you guys should get an idea of how it looks from this point. Let me just move this so you guys won't see as much glare. Hold on. Okay, cool. Maybe I should move more towards me. All right, guys, here we are. We got the PC case next to me, obviously, and then we got this monitor behind me. This is actually my third monitor for my main rig. What I normally do, I would switch between my main rig, and if I have a new PC or I test my kid's PC, I would just switch between sources to do between my PC and that test PC or test bench, whatever I'm doing. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to switch this to display ports. Obviously the PC is off now, so you won't see the display. So let me cut this thing on now and see how this thing looks when it is booted up. I don't think, let's take a look. If I need to turn the lights off, I will show you guys a little bit more how it looks. But this is the way it looks, guys. There it is. All right, so let's get this PC turned on. All right, flip that switch. Ooh, got some RGB action in there behind the motherboard. You know what I'm saying? And let's turn this thing turned on. Let's get this thing turned on so you guys can see real time on how this thing boosts up to Windows. Hope you guys can see. You guys, I mean, listen, guys. This is what I got. I don't have enough space here, so I'm gonna turn on now. All right, booting up now. Asrock. Yeah, that's what's up. So let me just log in real quick, but like I said, guys, this PC is outstanding. Normally I don't like to do too much of the B-roll with the music. It's kind of exhausting when you do stuff like that. But when I do it, it's normally through a shorts. I don't like to do it to my long video formats. The whole panning and all that stuff, it's just extra. I don't like to do it all the time. So don't expect me to do that all the time in my videos. I just like to talk about my PC builds, and if I do end up doing a montage of a PC build, I will just do it in my shorts. But guys, this will be it for this video. If you guys like what you see, have any comments, please let me know down below. Leave a like. Any questions, feel free. Until next time, guys. Hey, wait, guys, wait. Before I leave you guys, I have to show you guys the way it looks without a little bit of light. So hold tight for that. I gotta show you guys this. Let's turn down that light real quick, hold on. And there you have it, guys. In all its orange and white glory and black. Now, hope you guys enjoyed the video. There's a little snippet of how it looks. I have to show you guys this. This color scheme I just went with. Again, this motherboard does force you to do a little color scheme, but it doesn't have to be this way. But I just did it just because, hey, why not? All right, guys. Again, till next time, guys. Peace.